Gumagamit din ba kayo ng honey, pampatamis? Eto ba yung ginagamit yung alternative at hindi na kayo gumagamit ng table sugar or refined sugar. Pero alam nyo ba na sa ating JG0 food list, ang honey ay nasa danger list pa din. I'm sure marami sa inyo ang magugulat, especially kung marami kayong stock na honey sa inyong mga bahay. I admit, isa ako sa maraming nagsastock ng honey noon. However, nung nalaman ko what really is honey, kung ano yung composition nito, hindi ko na maalala when was the last time I used honey for my food or for my drinks. The last time ata na ginamit ko yung honey is parang ginawa ko siyang body scrub na meron siyang kasamang table sugar. So, it's the honey with sugar. Sobrang ganda siyang body scrub. But something to take in inside my body, hindi ko na yan gagawin. That and more, yun yung pag-uusapan natin today. The danger, caution, and safe list when it comes to carbohydrates. At yun na nga, yung honey po ay kasama sa ating danger list and we will discuss why. So, first muna, ano yung mga very common na mga carbohydrates that are usually in our danger list. So usually, ito yung mga pagkaing mataas na sa blood glucose, mataas sa blood sugar, nakakapag-spike ng ating asukal sa ating dugo. Yet, and at the same time, may halo itong mga chemicals and other macronutrients like the unnatural fats. So high carb, high fat, these are the types of carbohydrates na nasa danger list kasi ito ay nakakapag-inflame ng ating katawan. Fast foods, the french fries, yung mga burger na merong processed na meat, yung mga burger na veggie burger. So it's mostly all carbohydrates or processed proteins na hindi natin alam kung saan talaga galing because they are simply not coming from natural sources which are the meat and yung mga biscuit, yung mga candy, yon, yung donuts, and these cookies, yung mga chocolate drinks, soft drinks, given na it's in our danger list talaga. Kasama yung mga fruit juices. So, hindi lang po honey yung nasa danger list natin. Kasama yung mga fruit juices na kahit pa sinasabi nilang all natural, pero it is already concentrated form of fructose and glucose na ginawang juice. 1 glass of orange juice na puree or yung extract talaga is nanggaling sa mga 5 to 6 pongkan. Kung ikaw, kakain ka ng pongkan, hindi mo kakayaning ubusin yung 5 pongkan in one sitting. Pero, when you make it into a juice, sobrang dali lang siyang inumin, especially if malamig, maraming ice, at saka mainit yung panahon, and you are already over-consuming. You are consuming too much carbohydrates, too much sugar, too much fructose na nagsisignal sa katawan natin that it's harvest season. At kung harvest season yung sinisignal sa ating katawan, ano ang gagawin ng body natin doon? It will store those fructose and those glucose into either fats or pwede niya itong ibakin sa ating katawan in the form of deposits na nakakabara at nakakakos ng mga problems sa ating organs. That's why merong mga dysfunction. Ano-ano yung mga dysfunction na ito? Pwede itong mag-manifest as headache, sakit ng ulo, sakit ng sikmura, pananakit ng joints, and then even yung pagkakaroon ng mga blurring of vision o yung bigla ka na lang na hindi masyadong nakakarinig, barado yung sipon, or parati kang nahihilo, all of those are dysfunctions. So, nagkakaroon na ng problema. There's already what we call as pathological manifestation. Something is no longer right. That's why kung meron kayong dinaramdam, try to look kung gaano karami or baka merong nasislip on, baka nakaka-consume kayo ng mga nasa danger list na hindi natin alam. What's buried here are actually the seed oils. Hindi natin alam kung ano yung mga oil na ginagamit kapag kumakain tayo sa labas. And if you are one of those na naging sensitive na, me and my brother-in-law, Kenchu, is one of those na nakakaramdam talaga kapag yung oil na ginagamit sa certain restaurants are actually not coconut oil kasi nahihilo na, nagkakaroon na kami ng reaction talaga. That's why as much as we are busy, we still try to do our best sa aming family to cook on our own. Or kung meron kaming suki, at kilala namin yung nagluluto, we actually try to ask them kung ano yung ginagamit nilang oil and we ask them to shift into coconut oil para mas healthy naman para sa lahat. So, Those are the major na nasa danger list. And of course, all the sweeteners. So, meron dyan yung mga sugar na naka-cubes, merong refined, merong brown sugar, merong muscovado, raw sugar, cocoa sugar, even including honey, yan, nandyan, all under danger list. Kasi po, as much as yung brown sugar ay a little better kasi nga hindi siya ganun ka-refine. So, actually, what it has is just a little extra dirt, extra something na hindi pure sugar, but it's very negligible yung pagkakaiba, especially kung anong idudulot nito na blood sugar spike sa inyong katawan. If ayaw niyong maniwala sa akin, you can do an experiment yourself na magkaroon ng glucometer. I-check ninyo yung inyong glucose before eating, and then after putting 1 teaspoon of sugar, pwede nyo i-check after 15 minutes, after 30 minutes, and after 1 hour. And then the next day, try nyo ulit yung brown sugar, and then you can see na there's actually not much difference. And why is it na nasa danger list natin yung honey? Because when it comes to net carbohydrates, ibig sabihin yung total impact of carbohydrates na nilalagay nito sa ating katawan ay actually mas mataas pa per teaspoon yung honey as compared to white sugar. White sugar, yes, it's 100% refined na sugar made up of glucose and fructose. Dalawa yan ha, glucose and fructose. Yung honey naman, it's just around 70 to 90% depending kung gaano ka pure. But it doesn't mean na since it is less when it comes to number of carbohydrates, eto ay sobrang baba na talaga. Meron siyang mga antioxidants, meron daw siyang mga antibacterial properties, and meron din siyang certain vitamins kasi nga it's actually a carnivore kind of produce, no? Kasi nanggagaling siya sa bees. Pero these are raw honey na nanggaling pa rin sa mga nectar. So it's all concentrated na fructose and glucose. And if you will check your blood glucose, yes, maybe hindi siya ganun kaaakyat kasi nga parang nasa half-half lang yung glucose and fructose component nito. Yung fructose kasi, hindi siya nagkakaroon ng impact sa blood sugar. Pero isa rin yun sa nakakatakot because hindi siya nakikita sa blood sugar na monitoring when you do your capillary blood meter na monitoring yung CBG o yung glucometer. Pero yung impact ng fructose sa ating katawan, especially if you are consuming them on top of a high carb meal, most likely ito ay nagkakaroon ng burden sa ating liver. Our liver takes these fructose and converts it into triglycerides. And these fructose, meron din po siyang pathway na nagpapataas din ng uric acid sa ating katawan. And if this uric acid is coming from fructose, coming from carbohydrates, then most likely it's the scary type of hyperuricemia, yung mataas na uric acid na merong kasamang inflammation. Because I know marami rin sa mga naglo-low carb, especially yung bago pa lang nag-transition, na medyo napataas yung kanilang intake of meat without proper na balance when it comes to potassium intake. So nagkakaroon ng hyperuricemia. But if you will take note, iba yung hyperuricemia noong naka-high carb kayo at hyperuricemia ngayong naka-low carb kayo. This is simply because hyperuricemia per se, kapag yung hyperuricemia is occurring alone, wala talaga siyang ganong direct clinical impact. It can be subclinical. Pwede siyang walang manifestation, but the moment yung hyperuricemia ay meron ng kasabay na mga inflammation, other markers of inflammation, then dyan na nagkakaroon ng mga arthritis, urate stone formation, urate crystal formation in our kidneys and our joints na nagkakaroon ng problema at nakakasira pa ng ating kidneys. So that is why as much as we love honey and honey is natural at hindi siya gawa sa factory, just like table sugar, yet it is not something to be consumed on a day-to-day basis. Ano yung basihan natin dito? We can always go back to our evolution. By nature, kailan nyo maiisip na makakahanap kayo ng honey in the wild. Kung walang binibenta, kung walang available sa supermarket na pwede nating bilhin anytime, what are the chances actually na feel ninyo makakahanap kayo ng beehive where you can harvest honey? Ako siguro kahit pa merong beehive ako makikita, kahit everyday ko pa yan makikita, but I don't think I will have the courage to get and harvest those honey against all of those bees, no? So, it only goes to show na tayo as humans now, as much as it is very easy for us to buy honey, marami ng mura ngayon, meron ding mamahalin, like yung Manuka honey, and I know marami rin yung nakasascam just because it's expensive. Akala natin eto na yung sagot sa lahat nating problema. I have a friend who is fond of buying expensive stuff kasi he has his notion na kapag eto ay medyo mamahalin, maybe it could be for a reason. Maybe it's really something worth it kaya mamahalin ito. Yes, that can be true in many cases, especially in items, in appliances, in things that we can use. But when it comes to food, especially yung mga labeled as healthy foods, you really have to ask then minsan. Because sometimes, baka it's just marketing strategy. Baka business lang yan. Na when in fact, if you will look closely, if you know the science behind low-carb nutrition, why we aim to lower our carbohydrate intake para ma-lower yung insulin load natin sa katawan, then you would understand na hindi actually kailangan bumili ng mga mamahaling pagkain in order for us to attain yung necessary nutrient na pangangailangan natin sa araw-araw. So, that is why yun yung rason kung bakit ang honey ay nasa danger list natin. And moving forward to our caution list, ano yung mga caution list natin? If wala kayong kinakain sa mga pagkain na nasa danger list natin, but meron pa rin kayong dinaramdam na mga signs of inflammation, nahihirapan bumangon sa umaga, hindi makabangon ng walang tulong, parating nahihilo, halos natutumba, hindi makakonsentrate, hindi makafocus, hindi nang ganon kaganda yung memory, yung sakit ng ulo, nandyan pa rin, yung kirot ng tiyan, pagkakaroon ng GERD, pagkakaroon ng fatty liver, pagkakaroon ng malaking tiyan. And those things are possibly related to overeating of the ones in our caution list na kahit pa sana caution list can be accommodated. Pero if you are overeating them, then most likely ito yung mga rason kung bakit kayo mismo ay nagkakaroon ng ganong mga problema. Why you can still say na yes, I am 100% at the top of my health. So far, so good. Kung hindi pa, dahil baka naparami yung kain ninyo ng nasa caution list even if you avoid everything in the danger list. So, saan dito yung paborito ninyo? Yesterday, we went up in the, ano ba yon? South, east, west siguro yon. Yeah, I think it's west part of Cebu, yung bukid ng Cebu, and along the highway, maraming nagbebenta ng sweet corn. So, sweet corn is a starch. It's fibrous, yes, it's natural. It's high in fiber, pero mataas din po ito sa net carbohydrates. And if you are still on your road to healing, yung level of inflammation ay nandyan pa din, then you can actually benefit from avoiding sweet corn along with other na mga starchy foods that are here. So all the grain products, including the root crops, yun po ay part pa rin ng nasa caution list natin, and they can easily go into danger list kapag napasobra yung kain ninyo. We only have 50 grams of carbohydrate limit in a day, and that's including everything, including the vegetables, to which we will discuss later. But if you will consume it from starch, then kakaunti lang yan. Baka isang maliit na patatas o kamote lang yan, at saka isang slice ng tinapay na ang magkakaroon ng resulta na mas gugutumin ka pa as compared to hindi ka nalang kumain yan. And another caution list would be the fruits, which is still related to what we talk about, which is the amount of fructose na nasa fruits. Tayo pa namang mga Pinoy, kapag hindi matamis, hindi masarap. We are very choosy when it comes to our fruit intake, and only to see na yung pinakamatamis pala ay yun din yung may pinaka mataas na sugar and glucose na content. And of course, sugar cane and tubo, it's still sugar, okay? Part pa rin yan. It's still fructose. That is why nandyan na yan sa ating caution bordering danger list. If i-extract mo yung juice na nasa sugarcane, it becomes danger list. Kung ikaw mismo yung ngunguya, then maybe you can have a caution list. But I know, it's pure sugar talaga. It's pure glucose. So, as much as possible, do not be ever complacent kapag nagko-consume kayo ng anything na matamis and more of the grains including rolled oats, whole grain na mga kung ano-anong mga whole grain flours, but still flour ay most likely is still under our caution list na dapat hinay-hinay lang sa pagkain. Okay? So, root crops, including carrots, although carrots, pwede natin yan malagay na pangsahog, pero kakaunti lang. When it comes to pansahog, so hindi siya yung major, okay? Hindi kailangan sobrang dami. So, be cautious when you take root crops, not because it's root crops and it's whole food, ay unlimited na, 1 kilo na yung kakainin nyo because you will just have to suffer the insulin burden, glucose burden nito. Yes, kasama po, 'di ba? Saging is fruit. So kahit saba pa 'yan, kahit pa yung ano 'yan, kahit anong klaseng saging pa, it's still fruit. So kasama na 'yan sa caution list. 'Wag na tayong mangarap na ang saging ay magiging safe list. Hindi talaga siya nasa safe list because one saging, yung maliit na saging lang, yung equivalent niya, nasa 4 to 5 teaspoons na of white sugar yung kanyang glucose equivalent dyan. So, kung kaya nyong kumain ng saging ng isang saging in a day lang at you can still limit your other glucose intake and carbohydrate intake, so good luck sa inyo. But it's still going to be on the caution list. Saging na saba, hindi po yan under safe list. Okay? Nasa sa inyo na if you're willing to risk eating an equivalent of 5, minimum of 5 teaspoons of equivalent ng white sugar sa kada saging na kakainin. Okay? Kahit pa yung saba na hilaw, the moment you cook it, magiging starch pa rin ito. And then that is already almost directly converted into glucose kapag nasa tiyan na natin. Merong resistant starch, pero ito yung hilaw. Hilaw na hindi mo lulutuin. And if you are not used to it, most likely sasakit yung tiyan nyo. Magkakaroon kayo ng indigestion kasi nga, we are not really born to eat all those. Okay? So kahit hilaw pa yan, you can have that, ang hilaw, as resistant starch. Pero yun nga, baka sasama yung tiyan nyo. The only way for us to consume those is lutuin ito and then it becomes starch. Kaya ito nasa caution list kasi pwedeng i-accommodate if you already don't have any other health issue. So, reserve them. As much as possible, stick muna tayo sa safe list para mas maganda yung ating progress. So, papaya at kung ano-ano pa. Those are all under our fruits, 'di ba? Fruits, wag niyo nang isa-isahin pa. Generalize na lang natin yung fruit, okay? Sa mga naka-low carb, alam niyo na, avocado is low carb, yung sa coconut, yung young coconut, not low carb, pero yung mature coconut, yung matigas na, yung laing na, yung ginagawa ng gata, yes, that can be low carb. And others like berries, still consume in moderation kasi meron pa rin silang carb content, okay? But to be safe, kalimutan muna natin yung fruits in general because we are not meant to consume fruits every day all year round kasi nga harvest season only happens once or twice at most at wala pa noong agriculture, walang farming, walang pesticides, walang GMO na tumutubo kahit walang seeds. So, the fruits that we have now, hindi na talaga natural. That is why we have to be cautious when we eat them. Maraming salamat po. Thank you so much. For those who are interested to know more, we have an ongoing low carbon fasting masterclass. And for our safe list, ano yung nasa safe list natin? Let's enlarge this one for you to see. Yan. So, yan, this list of green leafy vegetables and fruits are considered as part of our safe list. Ang safe list, meron siyang carbohydrates kasi wala naman talagang zero carbohydrates when it comes to plants, pero dapat nasa 5 grams or less lang per 100 gram. So for example, yung lettuce na 2 grams lang per 100 grams. So actually, pwede kang kumain ng 2 kilong lettuce in a day kung gusto mo, if you want to maximize that 50 gram of carbohydrate limit in a day. Okay? So kayang-kaya kung gusto mo lang. So there's actually safer kinds of carbohydrates. So yan, nasa safe list na tayo of carbohydrates. So i-avoid yung mga nasa caution and danger list, okay? So, kung gusto nyo ng vitamins and minerals na profile na galing sa plants, you can choose from these. Make sure lang na hindi kayo ganon ka-sensitive sa mga antitoxins because there are people who are actually sensitive to these na baka kailangan mo nang mag-break sila before they can continue their healing journey. So, cabbage, cauliflower, zucchini, eggplant, but for those na tumataas yung kanilang uric acid, try to avoid lang muna yung cauliflower. For those naman na parating sumasakit yung kanilang mga joints, try to limit yung pag-intake ng mga mapapait na greens because that might be high in oxalates, okay? But for now, speaking of carbohydrates per se and amount of net carbs, eto yung mga vegetables and fruits that you can have on a safe level. Okay? So, yung pwede nating isipin when it comes to choosing your carbohydrates? So, if it's a bread, and etong bread na ito ay considered as nasa caution list natin, that's already 20 grams yung isang slice na yan. But when it comes to whole low-carb vegetables, actually katulad lang yung equivalent niyan. So, these are other 20 grams of carbs on each plate na pwede nating masavor. So, is this really the legit account? Kung nanonood kayo ngayon ng live, yes, of course, this is the legit account. So, alam nyo na, you can check the following, no? Kung nakikita nyo na yung mga pages na yon ay nasa 100, yung followers 200, most likely those are fake accounts. At wag na kayong maniwala. Report it, block it, and you can send us the screenshot para matulungan nyo kami on how to compile and file a complaint about it. But generally, you can support more by sharing this video and following and subscriber only to our official page. So yan yung mga 20 grams of carbs on each plate. And reminder lang, of course, no, nakakalungkot naman kung dyan tayo kukuha ng ating 20 grams of carbohydrates. So, choose better. This one looks more colorful. Kahit saan dyan, you can have those choices. Okay? And remember, wag lang puro carbohydrates yung kainin. Kailangan din natin ng protina sa ating katawan. In general, on average, okay? On average to, about half kilo ng meat in a day. So, any form of meat, seafood, or animal, red meat, white meat, pwedeng-pwede. That would be equivalent to about 100 grams per day na hindi naman ganon ka sobra talaga. That is just enough. Kung ilalagay natin yan into calorie, that's just 400 calories. At kailangan natin ng mga nasa 1,500 to 2,000 calories. So, nasa 1/4 lang actually niyan ng pangangailangan nating calorie in a day. So, wag kayong matakot as long as you consume them without those na nasa danger list natin. So, more of these meat choices. So, marami yan. Pwedeng isda. And kung gusto nyo ng mura, masustansya, pwede kayong kumain ng up to 33 pieces ng sardinas every day. Those are very, very healthy and are very affordable pa. So, maraming salamat to everyone who are watching. And of course, do not be afraid to eat natural fats. But for those who still wish to lose weight, baka kailangan yung hinay-hinay muna para mabigyan ng pagkakataon na matunaw yung taba na naimbak na sa ating katawan over the last decades ng ating pamumuhay. There are different form of fats. Get to know more of them. Nasa ating JCC Rojo food list po yan. And I hope to see you all in the upcoming National Low Carb Day this Sunday na po. 4 days to go na lang yung countdown natin. 2 days to go na lang before we close our regular rate, and it's going to be expensive na. Wag na kayong dalawang isip pa or else pagsisisihan nyo na hindi kayo nagpa-register while the rate is still regular at hindi na yung more expensive na rates that is already after September 30. So face-to-face registration, you can check www.nationallowcarbday.com, and for virtual access naman, www.lowcarbconph. I hope to see you all po. And for those who would like to have an up close and personal in this special night dinner with yours truly, it's going to be after the National Low Carb Day. So meron itong exclusive dinner with yours truly and the rest of the admins and family, and we invite you. Meron pang counting slots available. And if not, we can just see you on the National Low Carb Day, the national meet and greet ng Low Carb Universe dito sa Pilipinas. And for those na magsistick sa safe list, one reminder for all of you, meron tayong JGC Rojo Food List shopping bag. Kung gusto nyo makakuha niyan, this is going to be exclusive and available only during the National Low Carb Day, and we hope to see you there. So, maraming salamat everyone. We hope to see you in the National Low Carb Day 2022. Magkita-kita tayo doon. Maraming salamat for always tuning in. I hope you learned something today on our danger, caution, and safe list when it comes to carbohydrates. Remember to always stay low carb so that we all stay safe. Have a good day, everyone. Maraming salamat po. I'll see you again tomorrow. Thank you so much. We will see kung merong mga questions that we can try to answer. Tingnan natin. How are you all? Kamusta? Ano yung kinain nyo kanina? I hope I can see you in the upcoming National Low Carb Day 2022 this coming Sunday na po. I'll see you then. Tingnan natin. Marami atang nagtitake capsule. Yes, any form of salt is okay. Wala namang problema. But yun nga, the better kind of salt would be the more unprocessed ones. Okay? 100 grams of meat. 100 grams of meat, hindi po yan 100 grams of meat lang. Ang 100 grams of meat is just equivalent to 20 grams of protein. Okay? That is why yung sinabi natin kanina, when it comes to your proteins would be, ano yon? About kalahating kilo. So that's 500 grams minimum po. 500 grams minimum. So half kilo, that is equivalent to 100 grams of protein. Okay? Klaro po tayo. 500 grams of meat raw weight is equivalent to about 100 grams of protein. So I hope that is clear. So yun lang. I hope you're able to learn more today. At yan yung ating special for National Low Carb Day series on October 2, 2022. And maraming salamat for always tuning in. I'll see you again in our next video. Remember to always stay low carb so that we all stay safe. Bye-bye. See you.